guys, it's your boy Chris, or as a lot of you may know me, or most likely know me, is at Tunes from the Man Cave on Instagram. For this video today, I've chosen to participate in a vinyl challenge for the month of March, which ends tomorrow. I've always been interested in vinyl challenges. I hardly ever participate in any of them, and I never finish any of them. I'll tell myself I'm going to, like, this looks like a really cool challenge. I'm going to really go all in on this one. I'm going to have a blast. And too many 12-hour days, 18-month-old. I come home, I don't feel like picking out a record. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So I thought it would be for an interesting video if I did a vinyl challenge right here for you guys and knocked it out in 20 minutes right now. So the March vinyl challenge that I have chosen is Wax Taps, at Wax Taps on Instagram. And Wax Taps is a vinyl and growler bar shop in Texas. So in other words, my kind of place. Tunes and brews, right up my alley. So if I ever for some reason find my way there, I'm definitely going to check it out. So I chose their particular challenge. So I'm going to jump right into it. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Day one, currently listening. It's Bob Dylan. It's a bootleg, Let Me Die in My Footsteps. A lot of stuff that claims to never be heard before is Dylan. There's so many bootlegs out there. Some of the stuff I can genuinely say I've never heard anywhere but this bootleg. But that's what I'm listening to right now. Bob Dylan, Let Me Die in My Footsteps. Really cool bootleg if you ever come across it. Day two, Just Bought. For this one, it's not really a just bought. I bought it a couple of months ago, but I decided to go with it anyway because I was really, really stoked when they reissued this one. And that's Riot Act by Pearl Jam. These things were going for $200, $300, $400 a pop for originals before this came out. And I'm sure they still are for originals, but who's paying it now? Certainly not me. $25 for this puppy. More than happy with it. So glad I didn't spring for that one I saw for $200 in a record shop one time. I was that close. Number three, 45 RPM record. Those of you who follow me on Instagram know I'm a big fan of my mofas. This is a relatively recently released original master recording of Bob Dylan's The Times They Are A-Changin', and it's from the new Mono series. This thing's awesome. 45 RPM mono. They're running through the full Dylan MoFi catalog now of all of them. I've got 3 or 4. They're all killer. Definitely worth diving into. Day 4, Most Colorful Wax. I got plenty of colored vinyl. I think most of us do. It's become the new thing. Without a doubt, it's definitely the trendy thing to do in vinyl these days, especially for reissues. But I've selected the Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. Recent Vinyl Me Please reissue. 2 LPs. Killer. Look at that wax, guys. Red, black, white splattered vinyl. The other one's white, black, red splattered vinyl. It's beautiful. It's killer. And more importantly than everything I just stated, it's my favorite hip-hop album of all time. Hands down, bar none. I've always loved it. I've always been a huge fan. So, that one right there, I chose for Most Colorful Wax. Whether or not it's actually my most colorful, I couldn't tell you, but damn it, I just wanted to share this one. Ready to Die, all-time hip-hop classic, music classic, period. Day 5, oldest record. Okay, now, I have no way of knowing whether or not the one I'm getting ready to show you is actually my oldest record or not. To be honest with you, probably not. I have 2 books full of old 78s that were given to me by my grandfather, but I don't know how to date them. I have no idea when they came from, where they came from, when they were released, but I'm going to find out one day. Those are probably my oldest. But for the sake of this, I'll just go with my recently acquired Miles Davis with Sonny Rollins original 10-inch. This thing's awesome. I'm so happy to have it. 1954, I think, on the release date. So, for argument's sake, for the purposes of this challenge, let's go with this one. I just realized I missed a day going through this, guys. Day 6 on the challenge, newest record. Guys, I'm guilty. I've only bought one album released in 2018 so far. There's a couple I've been interested in, more than a few actually that I've been interested in. I just hadn't gotten around to it. I got Jack White's new album in the mail now. It just hadn't gotten to my house, so I can't show you that one. So I'll show you the only other album I've bought released in 2018, and I had no idea until this challenge. It's Justin Timberlake's Man of the Woods. This is the Target exclusive. Not his best, but I thought it was a solid record. I have no complaints about it, really. Day 7 on the challenge is best record to drink to. That's a fun one for me. But for me, I like to drink two things. I like to drink beer, as you guys know, and I like to drink whiskey. So for me, it's, what am I drinking? So I decided to give you guys a twofer on this one. Best record, in my opinion, to drink beer to. AC/DC, Back in Black. I mean, if you don't listen to AC/DC and want to just get drunk in a bar, drink beer all night long and fight somebody, I mean, I don't know. If you're ever going to feel that way about anything, I guess AC/DC would be as good a band as any to do that to. All right, best record to drink whiskey to. My other beverage of choice. I decided to go with McCoy Tyner's Nights of Ballads and Blues. Very chill, very mellow. I love it. He's one of the greatest jazz pianists of all time, in my honest opinion. Good glass of single malt, and even better if I've got a stogie. Good glass of single malt, nice cigar. Man, I can't think of very many records I'd rather listen to. So I decided to give you guys a twofer for that one. Day 8, bought at a show. Okay, I'm embarrassed to say I've never bought a record at a show. I've never seen records for sale at a show. It's not to say that they haven't been there, I've just never seen them, ever. I found that weird, but I didn't have one. So I cheated, and I went with a CD in a vinyl challenge. Guys, please don't snap on me too fast. Believe me, normally I would be one of the first ones to go, dude, a damn CD? But this one's cool, and I'm only going to share it because it's cool. If it was just your standard old CD, I wouldn't do it. But it's George Jones, Burn Your Playhouse Down. And I don't know if you guys can see in the top left-hand corner, but it's autographed by the man himself. A couple of years before George passed, he played at the South Carolina State Fair for like 20 bucks. It cost nothing. I'm like, 20 bucks to go see a country music legend? You damn right I'm there. And I went. They were selling these CDs out of a box walking through. I bought one. After the show, I was lucky enough to meet the man himself. Tell him what a legend I thought he was. Tell him how much his music had meant to me. He was very gracious. Just a brief encounter, and signed this for me. I only own like 2 CDs now, like 3. I got rid of most of them. But I won't get rid of that one because, man, I met George Jones, guys. He signed my CD. I wish this was vinyl, but it's not. But it's, damn it, it's autographed by George Jones. I thought that in and of itself made it cool enough to share. Number 9, 90s record. Guys, when I think of the 90s, typical. When I think of the 90s, I think of Nevermind. I just do. I think of Nevermind first off. This particular pressing of Nevermind is a 200-gram Japanese reissue, and damn, I gotta tell you, this thing's killer. It's the best version I've ever heard of the album. I absolutely love it. When I listen to Nevermind, I got like 4 copies of Nevermind. When I listen to Nevermind, that's the one I listen to. A10, Nostalgic. As I shared in one of my other videos, my intro to my vinyl collection video, as a matter of fact, I loved, as a kid, still to this day, cruising down the lake, down any body of water in a family pontoon boat, listening to tunes. And the Drifters take me there every time. Every single time. Golden hits of the Drifters, that's nostalgic all day for me. I can listen to every song one of these and I can think of where I was the first time I heard it and who I was hanging out with and my family, and man, these are the kind of memories you don't ever replace, nor would you ever want to. All right, day 11, this is a fun one. Record from birth year. See how many of you find out how old I am from looking at this one. I'm sure maybe somebody will be curious enough to look it up. Tom Waits, Rain Dogs. This is an original Japanese pressing. It's awesome. This is a great record. One of my favorite Waits records. A lot of people would say it is their favorite Waits record. It's up there for me. But yeah, if I had to think of an iconic album that came out the year I was born, September of the year I was born, I believe, so I'm actually a little older than this album. Tom Waits, Rain Dogs. Day 12, solo artist. Guys, I got 1,000 of those I could have picked, at least. But I decided, if you think of an album, there's always somebody else playing on it. You got drummers, you got keyboardists, you got guitarists, and in terms of jazz, you got trumpeters, you got pianists, you've got, so how much are they really solo albums? I mean, these albums, could they really have happened without all these other guys? And the answer is almost always certainly no. But I found a record that I can actually say is from a damn solo artist. Paul McCartney, solo debut, first album he released right after the Beatles broke up. He plays every instrument on this album, you guys. He made it himself in his home. The only other thing you hear on it at all is Linda harmonizes with him on some tracks. Paul McCartney did this one, guys. This is a definition of a solo record. This is a original UK pressing. Day 13, first pressing. Again, plenty I could have picked. I decided to go with the Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street. I'd love to have an audiophile press of this to really listen to and rock out to, but this one's still perfect. It sounds great, but that's one I would really go to. Day 14, Cheap is Fine. Brings me to an interesting story, actually. Prince, Purple Rain. And a lot of you are probably thinking, really, Chris, you had never found anything cheaper than Purple Rain? Those records actually, especially now that he's died, really aren't all that cheap. That's the cheapest one you found? Well, an old friend of mine from high school lost her stepfather to an early death. And he had with him thousands of records. They were his get-rich, retirement plan, which never panned out because of his untimely death. But anyway, he died, left her with all of these. She had no idea what to do with them, knew nothing about records. So she calls me and asks me if I would be willing to come look at them, tell her what they're worth, tell her what she has that's worth selling, what's not worth selling, and she'll give me, 15% of whatever they sell for, plus she'll let me keep whatever records I want. Wow. I told her I didn't want any money, I just wanted to help a friend, but I did bring a box home of a couple hundred records, and all I had to do was look through hers. And so Purple Rain cost me nothing. That's the very definition of a cheap find, my friends. Doesn't get any cheaper than that. That and just about Prince's entire discography up to that point, also in the box. I didn't pay anything for hardly a Prince album I have. So, can't beat that. Day 15, most expensive finds. This is the collection I paid the most for. Pearl Jam, Greatest Hits, Rearview Mirror, 1991 to 2003, 4 LP set. I love Pearl Jam, guys. I love them. Some of my favorite songs ever. I love every song on this collection. It's killer. I highly recommend it if you ever can get your hands on it. I got a big fat bonus at work about 2 months ago. And I had my eyes on that for years, and it didn't look like it was being reissued anytime soon, so I gritted my teeth and I said, damn it, I'm going to reward myself for my hard work. So I ponied up for that one. Won't say exactly how much, but it was a lot. Day 16, best record store. Best record store score. Anyway, I went with one I just got a few months ago because, man, you just don't stumble on these very often, guys. I doubt I'll ever see another one again besides the one I'm currently showing you. Sonny Clark, Cool Strutting, original mono Blue Note. I won't have to give you a full number on this one, but you guys can only imagine it. You can only imagine it was a couple $100. Let's just say that. And man, I was psyched to have it. I'm still psyched to have it. Day 17 Green Album. I'm assuming that they mean green vinyl. I'm assuming that's what they mean. I had one album on green vinyl. I traded it a few weeks ago that I know of, unless there's another one hiding in here that I don't know of. So I cheated. So for my green vinyl, I'm going to give you a damn Al Green record. Al Green, Let's Stay Together, because I'm a cheater. Day 18, favorite from 2018. Guys, I've only heard one album released this year until I get my Jack White album in. So I guess as of right now, and I know this isn't going to last, I'll go with a record from earlier in the challenge, which is Justin Timberlake's Man of the Woods. Guys, I either hear music on vinyl or Sirius XM, not at all. I don't do Spotify, I don't do Apple Music, I don't listen to music on the computer, I don't do AM, FM radio. All my favorite Sirius XM stations are all the older stations, so if I can't get my hands on the records, I don't hear it until I do. So that's just where I'm at. Day 19, Guilty Pleasure. I hate the term guilty pleasure for music. And the reason being is why should you have to feel guilty about something you dig? If you like it, who in the hell is to tell you whether or not it's cool or not? I mean, if you dig Nickelback's entire discography, oh, such a crappy band. Who cares though? If you dig them, that's enough. I will argue with anybody about any record in my collection, and feel free to argue with this one in the comments. I welcome all comers. But I chose one that certainly a lot of you guys would think was a guilty pleasure for a grown man in his 30s. Britney Spears, Baby One More Time. That's right, Britney Spears, Baby One More Time. Damn it, I'm in my 30s. When Britney came out, she was it for me. I had a Britney poster on my wall. I know the lyrics to all the songs on this album. I'm not embarrassed by it. I will gladly sing them. Not now, of course. I really was into Britney Spears. And I still, in retrospect, looking back on it all these years later, I still really like these songs on this record. It's not so much that I even just dug Britney so much. It's just, these are really good pop songs on this record, guys. And again, I'm willing to argue with anybody about it. So, bring it. Day 20, box set. The one I'm getting ready to show you, I hadn't even listened to yet. I hadn't popped the plastic on it yet. This Behemoth Cash Unearthed killer 9LP box set from his Rick Rubin years, his American Recordings years at the end of his career. The reason I hadn't popped the plastic on it is I've been waiting for a couple of days to just give it my full attention, to go through it, not to listen to one record here, one record there. I really just want to immerse myself in this collection. And that just hasn't happened yet. And until then, I hadn't popped the plastic. I want it to be a full experience. I want to pop the plastic. I want to listen to all 9 of these LPs. But as a working father, I might just have to finally give up on that dream and play these bad boys one at a time. But cross your fingers for me. Maybe I'll actually get to do what I want to do with it. Day 21, band that starts with T. Easy choice for me. One of my favorite, arguably one of my favorite supergroups of all time. And one of my favorite albums from the 90s. Temple of the Dog, self-titled. This is the reissue from a couple of years ago, 180 gram vinyl on sweet purple wax. I love this album. I always have, I always will. Day 22 soundtrack. High Fidelity. Original soundtrack from Record Store Day a couple years ago, because as vinyl collectors, don't we all love High Fidelity? I think we all do. And I think I'm not the only one who like watches the movie and tries to think about my favorite record store and who do these guys in the movie remind me of that work in my favorite record stores. I doubt I'm the only one that does that, but it's a killer soundtrack, awesome tunes on it. No dead wax in this house, guys. I don't do dead wax so well. So if you'll excuse me for just a second, I apologize. Day 23, regret purchase. I will buy, one thing that I've loved about the vinyl revolution is that so many of these albums that we all loved coming up, especially guys around about my age in the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of them are being repressed for the first time to where we can afford them finally, or are being issued for the first time on vinyl, period. But for guys like me who don't even own a freaking CD player, that's wonderful. So I buy them all up. When they come out, if I loved them during that time, I buy them. I don't even think about it. But this is a regret purchase. I wouldn't mind having this one back. I don't necessarily have to get rid of the album, but because it still reminds me of something. Bloodhound Gang, Hooray for Boobies. A lot of you round about my age especially are probably thinking, oh, I like Bloodhound Gang. I like the album. And okay, that's cool. I loved it as a teenager. I thought it was killer. I thought it was funny. Me and my buddies loved it. We laughed at it. We knew all the words. But I went years and didn't hear it. So when they reissued it on vinyl, I jumped all over it. I played it. And all I could think as I was listening to it was, Jesus, these guys were immature. Man, these are like a whole bunch of like 30-some-odd-year-old guys that are all just incessantly talking about boobs. Like, man, it just sounded like a bunch of old guys that needed to grow up to me. Maybe that's just what growing up and paying your own bills and becoming a father, maybe that's what that does to you, is it just takes away some of that from you. But yeah, that's all I could think is, man, these just sounded like a bunch of old dudes who needed to grow the hell up. But not knocking anybody who likes it. Like I said, once upon a time, I damn near burned a hole in my CD. So, just don't necessarily have to have it now. Day 24, underrated album. And when I show it to you, it's probably going to shock some of you because it sold plenty of copies, got plenty of attention. For me, Live. Throwing Copper. And you guys, I can already tell, are going to be like, Chris, this thing has got massive radio singles on it. But here's why I'll throw it in the underrated. When people talk about their favorite bands from the 90s, you hear Nirvana, you hear Pearl Jam, you hear, I don't know, any of the bands from the late 80s who were still popular in the 90s, R.E.M., U2, you hear, bam, all of these, and I very seldom ever hear Live out of anybody's mouth. And I feel like Live is killer, man. There's some rock and roll classics on this thing, in my opinion. Lightning Crashes, I Alone. I mean, there's not a bad track on this one, guys. This thing is all killer, no filler. Day 25 all-girl band. I went with Bikini Kill. Original pressing. Combined some of their early EPs into one 12-inch release. Just acquired it recently in a trade. Stoked to have it. Love it. Highly recommend it if you ever stumble upon it. These girls kick all kinds of ass. Day 26 live album was obvious for me. I'm going to go with probably my favorite live album and my favorite Sunday morning with a cup of coffee listen. Nirvana, Unplugged in New York. Japanese pressing, because, I mean, don't you have to have the best audiophile pressings of your favorite albums? For me, I do. Killer. I love it. It's hard to top this one in my opinion, as far as live albums that really mean a lot to me, that are really influential to my taste. Day 27, oddest cover. Probably could do code for me for oddest title, because Trout Mask Replica, Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band. Okay. in and of itself, that's just a weird album title. So the picture does the title justice. The picture is exactly what the title says. But damn it, it's just weird. And to be honest with you, what enhances the weird for me, because I'm sure I've got records with weirder covers, is this album's just weird. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video are probably Trout Mask guys. I'm not one of them. I don't like this album. I can't make myself like this album. I've tried to like this album. I'm sure one day I'll go back and throw it on again. But I can't promise this one will eventually end up traded, because no reason to have too many in my collection that I don't listen to. So I don't know. I'll probably give it one more shot before I do. But Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band, Trout Mask Replica. Day 28 rarest album. It's actually rarest bootleg. Pink Floyd, Tampa Stadium, 1973. According to what's written on it, it's copy number 14 of 100. So if there's only 100 of them in the world, that makes it pretty doggone rare. So I'll go with that one. Maybe I have something in my collection more rare, maybe, but 14 out of 100 for the whole world. That sounds pretty rare to me. Day 29, favorite from local. Guys, I'm a South Carolina boy. I know I'm not the only one on here. But for me, not only am I a South Carolina boy, I'm a Charleston, South Carolina boy. I was born there. So for me, Hootie and the Blowfish, Crack Rear View. I will fight anybody who says they don't love this. I'm sorry. It's another one of those bands, Hootie and the Blowfish, that eventually became cool to say you don't like, or that they suck. Well, meanwhile, this thing sold like 20 million records. So they sucked all the way to the bank, guys. And I love this record, and I love Hootie and the Blowfish, and I still see them every chance I get because they perform all the time in the state of South Carolina. Hootie and the Blowfish, Crack Rear View. Day 30. Favorite overall. Again, most of you come to me from Instagram, so you know, you followed me long enough especially. I love the Beatles. The Beatles are my favorite band. I know that sounds typical, and my favorite all-time album is obviously a Beatles album, and it's Abbey Road. And I picked my favorite copy that I have, which is my original master recording. It's killer. Man, it's my desert island album, guys. Abbey Road by the Beatles. Day 31, whatever. Okay. So, big anniversary celebrated in the history of rock and roll this week. Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. I think it turned 42. I think. Sounds about right. Maybe a little older. I'm not sure. I had the number in my mind earlier today, but big shout out. Houses of the Holy. Got to get the lead out every chance you get, baby. I know you got a few people on here, definitely, especially some of my best friends that coaxed me into starting this channel. Got to get the lead out often. Especially if you got a Japanese pressing in your collection, I'm proud to say I have one of every Led Zeppelin studio album. Houses of the Holy, happy anniversary. I couldn't think of a better one to go with for my whatever, day 31. So that's my vinyl challenge. I apologize for the one CD in my vinyl challenge, but again, I think you guys will agree it's a pretty damn cool one. And I apologize for only hearing one album in all of 2018. Man, I didn't realize it until I looked at the damn challenge. I'm gonna do something about that. Jack White's new album should be in the mail soon. And there are others that I've had my eyes on. I'm gonna have to make sure I grab them up because, man, this is like coming up on the start of April. And I've heard one. I got to do something about that. So, hope you guys dug this video. If you do dig this video, please let me know whether or not it's worth me continuing to do the vinyl challenge videos in the future. This one turned out to be longer than I thought it would. Let me know if you would be interested in watching more monthly vinyl challenge videos from me in the future. Because if it's not worth it to you and you guys aren't digging it, let me know and I'll come up with something else to talk to you guys about for 25 minutes. Until the next time, in the next video, hope you guys keep up with me on Instagram as always, @TunesFromTheManCave, and keep dropping the needle, you guys. I'll see you next time.